youth within the confines of our constitution aged between 18 and 35 years.
Now, Nairobi to New York daily flights by Kenya Airways is no doubt a big leap into market opportunities. Joining me now to explore the openings is the Chief Executive Officer of Export Promotions Council, Mr. Peter Biwott, who is the CEO for the Export Promotion Council. He's joining us live from our City Center studios. Thank you very much for joining us here on a KTN News Desk. I think I will just begin with what really is your reaction as an exporter in the country towards this news.
Thank you very much. As Export Promotion Council, the direct flights to the US are a real boost to the export sector, and I think for the country this is a big achievement that has seen a lot of work into it, and the direct flights that we've been able to get now to the US means a lot in terms of our work promoting export, and for the enterprises or for the Kenyan companies already exporting, this is going to be a boost in terms of reducing the cost of logistics or transportation of our products. As you are aware, Kenya already has an agreement with the United States of America under the African Growth and Opportunity Act, and one of the challenges which has been existing is long distance and high cost of transportation. So the direct flight is very important, and who knows, now this is going to open up so that Kenya can be able to export more products. As we speak, we export less than 20 lines of products in textile, others are horticultural products, flowers. And as you know, some of our products, because Kenya is a horticultural nation, are perishable. So the reduced time to just slightly less than 7 hours is going to really boost trade between Kenya and the US. US market and the Greater of America is the third best market for Kenya, and this is going to see more Kenyans exporting. Under the AGOA framework, Kenya has been given, or Sub-Saharan Africa has been given, duty-free access to about 6,400 products. And as I said earlier, we are doing less than 20. So this is going to be good for Kenya, and as the Export Promotion Council, we want to work with all our stakeholders in government, in the private sector. We want to talk to, we will continue our conversation with the manufacturers, with, SMEs, with the Kenya Private Sector Alliance and others, so that we can be able to take advantage of this window of opportunity, which has come as a result of the announcement of direct flights to the United States of America.
Fresh optimism. I want us to quickly take a look at what the CEO of Kenya Airways, Sebastian Mikos, said before we get back to this conversation while he was announcing the launch of the national air carrier's first extra long-haul flight from Nairobi to New York. Travelers will now access daily flights from the Jomo Kenyatta Airport at a cost of approximately 100,000 Kenya shillings for an economy class ticket. Ticket bookings are currently open, but the first flight will take off on the 28th of October this year. Mikos, who has been pegged as a turnaround CEO set to pull KQ out of its financial woes, says the new route is a comeback move for the company. Let's take a look.
The project of launching New York is part of the revamp, the new chapter of the airline, and we really like to show to the public that there are not only cost-cutting, restructuring elements, but there is also growth that we want to start not only to talk about, but to implement. So we expect this project to contribute into 2019, because we're going to operate only from the end of this year, to increase our revenues by roughly 10% of what we have today. This is one of the most natural moves, is to complete our network that we operate to Asia, Europe, Indian subcontinent by the North American connection. New York is very symbolic because for many people it's the gateway to the US, or even the gateway to the North market. So it's going to position us as one of the carriers having a direct non-stop connection from the US to our main hub. So I guess it gives us quite a nice international exposure as a mature carrier. But from regional perspective, we will offer to all the countries in East Africa, but not only, around one or 2 hour flights, a very good reason to come to Nairobi and connect through Nairobi to the US market. I think we are creating a serious alternative to other hubs, being Gulf carriers or being Europe. We are just trying to, have a biggest pie of the market we are on. The departure from Nairobi is an evening departure, so this is what is called the last wave. So you will have to have the capacity to really fly into Nairobi during the day and connect from all of the flights that we have during the whole day to the so-called evening wave, so the evening departure. If you notice our schedule, most of the long-haul flights are departing really in the late evening, so we can bring during the day the maximum number of passengers from our network and offer them the connection to long-haul flights. In that case, that will be a departure within the same time frame as we go to Bangkok, or as we go to Paris, or as we go to Amsterdam. So that's going to be the offer. Fly to Nairobi, and within 3-4 hours you can connect to a direct flight to New York.
Well, that is KQ CEO speaking earlier on in the day while they were launching this at one of the Nairobi hotels in the earlier hours of the morning. Let's get back to the conversation with Peter Biwott, is the CEO of the Export Promotion Council here in the country. He's joining us live from our City Centre studios. We've heard from the CEO saying that this is big for Kenya. This gives Kenya international exposure. But of course, we know the first flight is on the 28th of October. How should investors now align themselves in a bid to seize every opportunity that comes with this big move?
Thank you very much. As I said, the U.S. market is a very huge market, and every investor, whether in Nairobi or at the counties, should now position themselves because the cost of transportation has gone low. Many Kenyans and the whole world regard America and the American region as the country of opportunity. So there is a need now to work on the other challenges that has been affecting, exporting business, some of which will include now issues of, complying with orders, because now the issue of transportation, the issue of, cost of transportation is a thing of the past. And for us as a country, as you are aware, the president recently said that manufacturing is going to be key in the next 5 years. And what is going to be an answer to the growth of manufacturing sector in Kenya now is the export business. And therefore, we need to take advantage of the American market. I know we currently export 7% share of all our exports globally goes to the U.S. market. And this is an opportunity that we want to even encourage the small medium enterprises as well as the large enterprises to take advantage, because it's going to increase, foreign exchange earnings for us. So we need now to partner and team up with Kenya Airways. We know it's our national carrier, to support them and, ensure that the logistics of our exports, even from the local areas, our counties, can be able to be now realized in the U.S. market. As I said, 6,400 products is a huge, line of products. And all as Kenyans, we must now, get interested. Apart from the current exporters who are exporting, to other far regions, I think now exports to the U.S. market will be very easy. And this is what we need to take advantage. As Export Promotion Council, we want to continue sensitizing our exporters at the county level. We want to partner with counties. We are taking a whole-of-government approach so that we can be able to support the government agenda to grow manufacturing from 9% to 15% share of GDP. So this is a big boost, and I think even for the athletics, I know Kenya is known well for athletics, and a lot of our athletes go around the globe going to run in marathons. Athletics is one of the export business for Kenyans, and this is how the country has been able, to gain a lot of foreign exchange earnings. So our athletes can now do a direct flight to the U.S., other professional services. We have a lot of Kenyan, professionals who want to work in the, in the U.S. And at the same time, we're also looking at access of the diaspora who are living in the America or in the North Atlantic Free Trade Area, who are aiming to come back to Kenya to do business, to do investment. This is a big opportunity even for the country because we are still, importing, capital goods, which are going to enable our companies to competitively, produce products that can be exported back to the U.S. So it's time for Kenyans now to, take this seriously. We go to work and ensure that majority of Kenyans can now be able to take advantage of the AGOA market. During the president's speech at the inauguration, you can remember that he spoke about the African Growth and Opportunity Act, which has been extended courtesy of the president's leadership in the America region, where he's been able to lobby, and the AGOA framework has been extended to 2025. So it's a huge opportunity for Kenya that now we don't need to waste any time, but to take advantage of it.
Kenya, what does this mean for the entire region of East Africa? Because in essence, it is an opening for them as well.
Yes, Kenya is a hub and is an entry point of the East African nations to the American market. Majority of the exporters from the East African region, from the Mombasa region, and a lot from the African continent pass through Nairobi Airport. What we need to do now is to ensure that we scale up our customer service. We ensure that our services to clients are good so that Kenya Airways can remain the preferred airline for even the East Africans, for the Africans who are also exporting to the U.S. The AGOA framework is open for the Sub-Saharan Africa, which is constituting about 48 countries. So it is time for Kenya to position ourselves, and that's why we are calling on, even the private sector, who are the key, players in this export business, to take advantage, to position Kenya, to, market Kenya, our tourism agencies, ourselves as Export Promotion Council, all government agencies. We come together, and I think we are already been called upon, and we are already working very closely together right now so that we can be able to ensure other aspects which contribute to export development, like facilitation, issues of online or automated processes in terms of facilitating export, so that export business can be the easiest thing to be done by Kenyans. Because, as I said, this is the best way we can be able to grow our manufacturing. So it's time for us as Kenya to now focus on, regaining, strengthening our regional footprint as the regional hub for business.
Expansion, even going online, but infrastructure-wise, do you think we also need to consider expanding our infrastructure to cover for the more produce that we might be getting in the country and trying to export outside in Kenya?
Yes, definitely. The government has already been able to do, expand infrastructure. As you are aware, the government has done the standard gauge railway. We have done our roads. Our roads to the port of Mombasa are quite excellent. The port of Mombasa has also been improved. So what we need to do is to continue working on the various challenges that are actually, hindering export business. And I think, based on the World Bank report on ease of doing business, Kenya has been ranked as the 80th, which was an improvement of about 12 steps, which is good. And I think the target going forward in the next 5 years is to make Kenya the best in terms of doing business, because at the end of the day, we need to continue working on improving the ease of doing business, to which is a #1 priority of government. And the ministry, the State Department for Trade and the Ministry of Trade and Industry is working on, and we are hoping that in the next in the next 1 year, 2 years, 3 years, a lot would have been done. And again, cooperation with counties, because counties continue to be very important, especially in terms of trade development. And as CPC, we have we have programs around product development, and our focus in the next 1 year, in the next few years, is to ensure that we develop new products, we expand production bases, we lobby for more incentives, so that we can have the utilization of even the Special Economic Zones Act, which has been enacted by government, and all other facilitative improvement that the government has done over the last 5 years. So there's a lot to be done to enhance coordination, even enhancing public-private partnerships, and working together to consolidate orders, because orders which are coming from America are quite huge, and therefore there is need for all of us to focus on production, ensure quality, ensure standards, ensure that we meet, the requirements, and we work to reach the 6,400 products which we have been given to access to the U.S. market duty-free. So there's a lot of work, and this is a perfect opportunity to cooperate as Kenyans and to ensure that we promote our own institutions, we promote our private sector, we facilitate and support exporters, because, as I said, any country which has actually progressed in terms of manufacturing has focused on exports development. Exports remain the key issue in terms of growing our GDP, our gross domestic product, and the market outside there is so huge. If you look at the world market minus Kenya, the rest of the world, if you look at the consumers existing out of Kenya, they are about 99.994%, because our market as Kenya is only 0.006%. So there's a lot of call for partnership, call for action, by all of us, so that we can be able to make our country shine and become, a leading exporter, not only in Africa, but with the whole world.
So then, using New York as an entry point, do you think there is potential for more business for Kenya in the greater American region?
Definitely, there's more opportunity. America is part of the North Atlantic Free Trade Area. We have Mexico, we have countries like Canada, and also the neighboring countries. So this is a big opportunity for Kenya, and I think we are set to achieve our target of increasing our manufacturing as a share of GDP to 15% from the current 9%. So we are looking at the whole of the U.S., taking advantage of the U.S. market, looking at the North Atlantic Free Trade Area, and I think this is that opportunity. And for Kenya, this was really a big announcement, and we must extend our appreciation to the president, the deputy president, the government, and the private sector, who have actually worked tirelessly to make Kenya a shining star in the world.
Much for joining us here on KTN News Desk. We'll definitely be seeing how this works out as we wait for the 28th of October. That's when the first flight will be heading to New York from Kenya in that particular direct flight. That was Peter B.